Securing the endotracheal tube. Before intubation, prepare your room for the intubation. Make sure that you have all of the necessary equipment ready. Suction, oxygen source, ventilator, and ambu bag, properly sized endotracheal tube, and an extra endotracheal tube half a size smaller, with a stylet if needed, blade and handle, Untitled CO2 if available, intubation medications, personnel, your respiratory therapist, your nurse, and a physician at minimum, and have your tape measured and prepared for securing the endotracheal tube after the intubation. After the intubation, ensure there is proper placement by ensuring there is mist in the endotracheal tube, using your Untitled CO2 and observing color change if available, observing symmetric chest rise, and auscultating bilaterally to ensure equal breath sounds. Then inflate the cuff. First inflate the cuff until the leak disappears. After the tube is secured or taped, check cuff pressures using a manometer. Cuff pressure should be between 20 to 30 centimeters of water. After the intubation, make sure to never let go of the endotracheal tube until the tube is fully secured or taped to the patient. After the tube is taped and secured, repeat auscultation after taping to ensure the endotracheal tube is still in good position. Remember, if the tube needs to be repositioned, the cuff must be deflated before repositioning. After intubation, ensure proper placement by mist in the endotracheal tube, Untitled CO2 if available, symmetric chest rise, and auscultate bilaterally to ensure equal breath sounds. Taping the endotracheal tube. A few important points. Before taping the endotracheal tube, make sure the skin is dry where the tape will be placed. Avoid taping near the eyes to avoid damage to the eyes. It is also important to note where the endotracheal tube is at the lip, so the respiratory therapist can check for changes and the team can easily identify if the tube has moved later. Cutting the endotracheal tube. Finally, cut the endotracheal tube if it is too long. This will reduce dead space and flow resistance, minimize risk of tube dislodgement or accidental extubation, and reduce kinking or bending of the tube. While there is no strict guidelines for how much to cut the tube, if the tube looks too long, it should be cut a few centimeters to avoid being excessively long. Note, we cut the tube at an angle to easily reconnect the tube to the hub.
Okay, so my tape has already been prepared. While someone holds the tube in place, I'm going to secure it with the tape. It's important to be sure that the face is dry. If you have something tacky, like tincture or benzoin, that would be helpful as well. So I'm going to use 2 pieces of tape, one secured above the mouth and one below. Move your feet, please. Here, tape. It's always a good idea to put a tab for easy removal later when moving the tube. Note the markings. And then once again, reconfirm placement. You can add dead space and additional resistance through which to breathe. It can also make it more easy to extubate inadvertently. So I'm going to remove the adapter. Always cut on an angle so it's easier to reinsert the adapter. Adapter is reinserted. The tube is cut.